Hey, in this episode, we have a trader who's one of the top students of our community who's made over six figures. He took an $8,000 loan and had some ups and downs. With beginner's luck, awarding him over six figures, he lost it all and then he regained it after he built a strong playbook. If this trader will be in Miami 2026. We have an event February 18th through the 21st. So after you watch the full interview, click the link in the description to join us in Miami. We'll have Lance Brightstein, we'll have other pro traders there, as well as some of the top students from our community so that you can meet them and join a trading pod. Without further ado, let's jump into this interview with Brandon. So let's start off with you introducing yourself and how you got into trading.
My name is Brandon Griffey from Detroit, Michigan. How I got into trading was during the pandemic. I had a friend of mine's brother, a young guy, man. He was trying to get me into a multi-level marketing company with him. I'm like, I ain't about to do that. You know what I'm saying? He kept like begging me. He kept begging me. He was really persistent with trying to like, Brandon, you gotta check it out. You gotta check this out, man. Like, I got something good. You could be good at it. Cause I'm an entrepreneur. So he just came at me and was like, man, there's something that I think you'd be good at. So one day I just decided he was so persistent. I decided to like, go ahead and check it out, and that was the best decision I'd have made, man, in the past 5 years. And that's how I got introduced to trading through MLM. And instead of me looking for, that golden goose in the MLM space as far as trading go, I just took the skill set of learning serious. I got into the back office and with the modules that they had and just really start trailing my own waters, man. And at that point, man, once I, start experimenting with, trading the Forex, start messing with gold, and then we was all in a little group together, like Telegram group, and I found indices. One girl was like, "Hey, I made 1,500 and be done before 9 o'clock." I'm like, "What? What is that thing?" Like, what did you doing? I'm playing with Forex. You know how Forex would be, man. It be take hours for like a move to play out. You know what I'm saying? And she done traded before 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It was every day. She was consistently just dropping her results, and I messaged her privately, like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" She was like, I trade Nasdaq." I'm like, "Oh, Nasdaq, okay. What is that?" So I, looked into it, found the symbol. I didn't jump straight into Nasdaq. I found something else that said US 30. I'm like, "What is this thing?" And I jumped into that. So I started seeing her keep her report. I'm done trading about 10, done trading about 11:30, making $1,500, $2,000. I'm like, "Whoa, man!" So then that's when I discovered 30, and around market New York Open, I hit that button, and that was the fastest $500-$600 I made in my life. Like instant, like, whoa, what was this? Like, I was like, okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. So once I figured that out, like I didn't know nothing about the market. This brand in the beginning, I don't know nothing. I'm just I was just curious because she kept saying she was done while everybody else going to work or waking up. She done trading. She made a couple of $1,000s. So once I discovered her niche and the reasoning why she was making that type of money, it clicked for me. And man, it just was on from there.
That's incredible, man. You've already made six figures, and this is all verified through evals. So can you explain how you started? Like, how did you get there? What was the journey? Tell us a little bit about how you started, how you went through drawdown, and eventually made that six figures.
Okay. I actually made six figures in the beginning. I, yeah. What happened was I ended up getting a loan from a bank for like $8,000, and I loaded up my CFD broker account, and every day I was waking up like between 8, 9 o'clock, man, 9:30. I was buying like I was a. Then this is 2020. Now let's not forget what happened during 2020. We had the beginning of the pandemic. We had the big drop, and once I got into trading, we was in that beginning of that rally. I didn't really know nothing. And like even the educators that the part of the MLM I was in, they wasn't even trading US 30. It was just Forex and everything else. So I was, hey, one day I make $1,000 before about 9:30 every day. I've been like, dang, every time it get volatile. I didn't know that was New York Open at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, okay, I know this thing about to go crazy at this particular time of the day. And I went on a crazy winning streak once my liquidity started building up, and man, that $8,000 account went from 8 to 25. Once it got to like 20s, it was go time. After that, it was like, now I'm sizing in more. You know what I'm saying? So now I, went from the 8 to the 20 to 40 and 60. And my biggest trade that I had, and this is within like a few months span, my biggest trade that I had, it was my first live trading session. And because when I started showing my results to like other traders that was in our MLM company, the word got out. So they started like, "Hey, Brandon, can you do a session with my group?" Or I'm like, "Okay, cool," because they heard about me. I've been killing it from other people. And my first live trade session, we caught US 30 on a buy, and man, I made $40,000 in like 30 minutes. I mean, it's crazy. This beautiful trade. Everybody caught the move with me. You know what I'm saying? And it was amazing. The problem I had at that time was I was sizing in without a stop loss, number one. But I had that equity that was saving me. It would be some days where, you know, I would be in drawdown, but I got that equity. I'm holding trades. I might have hold a trade throughout the day to the next day and then take my profits. But I had that bullish market run where every day, the market was just, it would recover if it did a drop. And also, the very next day, I got my account up to like 140,000. That my biggest trade was 40 grand. Then the next day, I had the worst trade. I started dropping standard lots 4 times, margin me out 30,000, 32,000, 35,000. I kept sizing in, trying to think it got to recover from here. That was the time I didn't know how volatile US 30 can really move on them days where the market like sell off big time. And but that hurted me for like a couple of weeks. I was hurt because I never took a withdrawal at that moment.
So you're up 140K. And then where did you go from there?
I lost like 94,000, and I withdraw my money. And what I did was I still had some profit from that. And what I did was I just paid back the little $8,000 loan to the bank. And I went straight back to the bank like, here's your money. You just pay it, take it back. And I just kept the rest. And, but I still continued to trade though, because I had my group. Now they hooked now. And this is me trading with hundreds of people. Because like I told you, the company found out about me trading and having success. But guess what? Them people, they still stuck with me. So that's one thing I learned is when you trading live with people, you're not going to win every trade. Did I over leverage? Yes. Because if I only did what I do now to be a CPT, I would have never took a loss as much as I did at that moment. In the worst case scenario, out of $140,000 account, I would only lost $10,000 if I can go back to the Brandon from 5 years ago that took that bad trade.
So at the time, you didn't really have a structured playbook. This is the first time you made 6 figures. 2020 came, we had COVID hit, the market dropped, and then a lot of millionaires were made on that bullish run back up. You didn't really have the risk management. You didn't have a structured playbook. You're just making money during that bullish run, right?
That's what I was missing. Just that structure. But that sparked the brain because I'm like, you know what? I had to really look at myself. I turned $8,000 into $140,000 CFDs. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I didn't take because at that time a lot of people was on social media like, oh, flipping accounts, like take 1,000 to take $100 account to 1,000, $1,000 account to 10. So I got caught up into that moment, like trying to account flip. You know what I'm saying? And man, that was the worst trade I ever had since I've been trading. And that was me over leveraging, because I got margin out. Every time it dropped like 700 points and that day, and then guess what happened the very next day? 100% retracement.
Now, let's talk about when you joined ProfitX and how building the playbook, having that structure, helped you with consistency and take you to the next level.
Okay, so my partner, we met you at the FX conference a couple of years ago. I think it was 2023, the one that was in Miami, and he was telling me like, hey, this one guy Abdullah I met at the conference. This is my partner telling me this. check him out. He's solid. You know what I'm saying? I looked at his course. I looked at, his program. Because, there's a lot of traders at the conference. You had the Q Banks of the world. You had all kind of different traders from all over the world that was there. It was a really nice event, man. That was my first like real trading event that it was other traders that you could talk, socialize with and meet. I didn't meet you at that moment, but my partner introduced me to you as far as like, because we was looking for who was the who's who and who was like the real traders from, what I'm saying? You know how I was at the conference. It was, people that was trying to sell courses, and it was real people that was trading. You know what I'm saying? So he ended up, introducing me to you. So my partner Trina, she ended up buying your course, and then we was like, you know what, like this is some solid information. So me and her went through the course together. And I'm like, dang, Dula, yeah, this is it. He's saying some real stuff. So the one thing I got that changed everything for me was that playbook. Because I know what my setups look like. That I'm more likely I'm gonna shoot that shot every single time I see it's in play. And I used to record my sessions to promote like on social media my company, and I would record me trading live with my students, like, hey, we caught this move and boom. Like I used to do that to promotion, but then I had to go back and look and was like, I see this same setup often. You know what I'm saying? How like you would see a setup, and the market does the same thing over and over. It just different days, different conditions, but the setups is you when you see it, you know what to do. It's like like football. I'm gonna use football analogy. Like if I was a quarterback, actually we are quarterbacks of our account. So if I see the defense set up a certain way, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
That's right.
I got such and such. This is a blown coverage right there. I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And also, we gonna protect we gonna protect our front line, which is our account with stop loss, managed risk. And so that's pretty much what I end up doing is structuring my sell setups, my buy setups, and the CD setups. Like one thing I don't like to do is trade in the middle of a range. If a market
Mm-hmm.
does a massive move, I don't like to get in the market at that range, especially trying to buy, because with 30, man, they love to come back and get that money to retest before I make another move. So and then also sticking with trading one instrument, one
Mm-hmm.
ticker, and mastering that. That's what gave me my edge, because I've been doing it 5 straight years and I don't trade nothing else. So all I know is who I am. Could I trade other things? Yes. Do it? Have I dibble and dabble into other things? No, because this is what I know. I know, like prime example, US 30 hit all time high a day ago on Friday. Why? Because Warren Buffett bought 160 billion dollars worth of shares of United Health Group, and it shot up to all time highs. I mean, that's a part of US 30. That's one of the biggest players in the US 30. So I didn't catch that move, but I knew like, oh, okay, I see why this happened now. Because it's always a
Mm-hmm.
why to a move. It's always a why
Mm-hmm.
to a move. You just gotta take advantage of when that why happens. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yep.
yeah, that's what I learned, man. The playbook, setups, risk management, just being consistent, man. Just and the evals. I didn't, that was at the time you was, in the eval space,
Mm-hmm.
and I was new to the eval space, so I had to make that adjustment as well too. I'm gonna say, because I didn't get into the eval space until after 2023, until the end of the year when I started linking up more with you. Because I used to think evals was like scams,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh, I ain't about to, ain't anybody about to tell me what to do with my money. I went through a rough patch, bro. Like I went through like I blew accounts. I've lost a lot of money. I lost everything. Be honest with you, it got to a hard point where I started, you know, didn't have that edge. Don't get me wrong, I catch moves all the time, but then I had that a gambler's mentality too, because I was trading for bills instead of like just the moves and just trying to get back to that consistent level, because I felt like the market conditions changed on me. That was another thing. The market conditions changed on me, so now it's not like that bullish market saving me every day when I had that nice little streak. I made money during them times. A couple of grand here and there, $10,000 months and stuff like that. I was trading my live money. So it wasn't like I was always just losing, but I couldn't get over that hump. Like, okay, I might get, yeah, one day I have a $20,000 account, boom, withdraw 10, and then a week later I blow the $10,000. And then it got to a point where I started making bad investments that hurted me big time too during my journey. So now I'm trading, but I'm up here still brand an entrepreneur trying to do other things to make money instead of just focusing on what I got right in front of me is the market, and that can bring me any type of money that I need.
Yep.
And after that, my first 3 years was like my roughest moments in trading, man, because I didn't have my system all the way there. I'm trading live money. Everything really changed for me when I got into the eval space. When I got into eval space, I'm still playing with the house money. Ain't that something off the, like some people, man, I don't gamble the evals. I'm not one of them traders that rush evals. Like some people are like, I just only, I'm in futures now. I just pivoted to that this year. So I'm not spending $800,000 for a 200K account no more. I'm spending 150, $100 for a 150K account, 200K account, or less than that. You know what I'm saying? So, but me having experience with previous eval companies, I I developed a more disciplined aspect to the market, and it actually made me into a CPT today.
Yeah. You've had your challenges with eval companies, like many of us had. You started with CFDs and then you went into futures. For those that are interested in trading evals or they're just getting started, can you tell us a little bit about why you made the transition from CFDs to futures?
So one of the companies, man, I was one of their top three traders in that company, and I should have known the red flags, right? I did an interview with them when I got my first big payout from them. It was like $29,000, and they blasted me all on social media. You can probably go on their website right now. You'll see my payout just sitting there, say brand the United States, and they never posted my interview. This is crazy. It's a crazy story. They never posted my interview, and I'm like, okay, where's my interview at? Like, y'all asked me to do this interview. I see other people's interviews, and I'm one of y'all top traders. I'm speaking highly of this company during the interview, appreciating them, and like, hey, y'all a good company. I'm gonna see y'all to the top, and I'm giving good advice. What I really believe at that moment, I think, because they was asking me how my trading style was, what I was doing, I think that I must have said something that was going to create more profitable traders that was going to take money from them. I'm just being honest, because why my
Yeah.
interview never aired? You know what I'm saying? Like that make no sense. So I stayed with that company, and I think this was when you exit out of the eval space when they shut down MT4, MT5 for traders, and then a lot of the eval companies start bellying up. So it was like that first wave. I was caught in that wave right there. Like, you know, they banned all the United States traders from trading, and that company I was trading with an opportunity to be like, Brandon, we're gonna have to freeze your account for a while until we figure things out. I'm like, what? Look, now I didn't
Shadow ban.
scale
That's
my
crazy.
account, everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now I'm scaling the account. You know what I'm saying? I'm scaling it, because I'm hitting the certain percentage of the profit targets to keep scaling, right? So now I got more leverage. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, bet. I'm about to, just hit me back when y'all ready. Y'all figure things out. They promised me that they was gonna give me my account back when they figured things out. So when that happened, they ended up, giving me my account back, but they didn't give me the account back with the type of leverage that I had. And I'm like, whoa, like what's up with this, man? Like, I work hard to get this to this point. Like, you know what I'm saying? One of y'all top traders, at least, you know what I'm saying? I need that account size back. That was like, well, fortunately, we talked to risk management at their company, and they was like, nah, we just gonna keep you at this account, like back to where it was. I'm like, all right. So that kind of pissed me off too, because it was just like, dang, like they never had and they fine print. So they started making these weird rules that affected me. Started adding extra stuff like you can't, if you trading before news, you can't open a trade 5 minutes before news. You can't close a trade 5 minutes after news. It was a lot of little fine print that they ain't even come. Now I don't trade news, but it was just the point. Like they started making it harder. And then here's the crazy part about it. I blew the account, right? I blew the account, and I started buying more evals. But I'm buying big accounts, so I'm buying 200K accounts only because my risk appetite now is it ain't. I can't go back to making $500 in a trade no more. Now you know what I'm saying, 'cause I'm used to making $5,000-$10,000 days. I'm accustomed to that risk. Like I could stomach seeing my account down, draw down $3,000, $4,000. I'm good with that. I'm comfortable with that type of drawdown. Some people they panic. They can't handle that type of drawdown, right? And I'm loyal, man. I'm loyal. Like if you paying me good, I'm like, why would I leave? Why would I go to another company or whatever? Y'all promoting me and you know what I'm saying? Like I'm on the website, I'm all in y'all Discord, chatting with all the traders and stuff like that, and everybody know who I am in that Pacific prop firm. You know what I'm saying? And I passed an eval from another company. I found out I was shadow banned, man. I'm like, what? Like, hold on. They was like, we don't like your risk appetite. We're gonna refund your eval back. I'm like, first of all, I'm using a stop loss. I'm following every rule y'all say. Y'all say, you know, you can't lose a certain amount of money in a day. I never hit the daily drawdown limit. Um, I'm I got the account size. I'm like, why y'all even having 200K accounts if you're not gonna let a person trade? Like, dude, that ain't make no sense. They kept me as a trader. I got some payouts, but they reducing my risk. They reduced my leverage. Like they made it really hard for me to trade like how I like to trade. So I got a couple of payouts, man. I ended up losing the account, and then I went back to the original prop firm where I had my most success at, and got another account. I didn't blitz it, right? I didn't blitz it, and I was on that account probably like 3 months trying to pass. Cause you know I'm doing 250K account, but guess what I did this time? I actually reduced my risk. So it took me longer to pass the evals compared to just me trading like I like to trade. Man, soon they found out that I felt a couple of them, and soon as they found out that when I passed one, it was me. They took a whole week to even tell me that they don't want me as a trader no more. So they was like, "Hey, Brandon, you was a good trader, but
Mm.
we can't honor this account, man. And it's not to our risk appetite." It was some bullcrap statement, man. I blast them everywhere on social media, man. I knew it was a red. This is how I knew it was a red flag, right? I knew it was a red flag when I'm looking at other traders' payouts, and nobody was getting the type of payouts I was making at that prop firm. You'll see
Mm.
maybe a $3,000 payout, 4,000, but you wasn't seeing 10, 20, $30,000 payouts from this prop firm. You know, they was paying out, but they was only paying out people that wasn't as profitable as I or other traders that was with that prop firm. And I was hurt, bro. I was hurt, and this was this year. This happened this year. I think I hit you up. Yeah, I hit you up immediately. Like, bro, look at this, man. They done kicked me out the prop firm. Like, oh my god, like what I'm gonna do? Like, you know, because I'm all the way eval now. You know what I'm saying? I do have a live account, but I'm like really a strong believer of spending a little bit of money to make thousands. You know what I'm saying? With these evals, taking advantage of the evals. You know, while they're here, and so now I pivoted into futures back in April. I got into futures and man, that was a huge adjustment, man. It was like it was. I'm like, okay, what's one contract? One contract. Because I remember used to when you was trading futures, I didn't even know YM was US 30. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what is YM? You're supposed to be talking about YM and NQ and all this. I'm like, what is this, man? Like, I didn't know because I used to be in your sessions, right, with you when you was breaking the charts down and stuff. And eventually, I saw you know, you pivoted over to stocks. I'm like, and you was trying to get me to come with you in the stocks. I'm like, man, let me keep milking this eval space right now. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where I'm comfortable at right now. And not only that, I got my whole following that's following everything I'm doing. And it was kind of it wasn't the time for me to pivot into the stocks right now. You know what I'm saying? And so I ended up getting into futures. That was a huge adjustment itself, man. Like I don't have that leverage number like I'm used to trading. When I got into futures, I got a Top Step Apex account, and off the gate, them two ain't created equal. Like you know what I'm saying? Like Apex was cheap accounts, but they ain't give you no room for no drawdown. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh man, I gotta navigate. Like, oh man, I got Top Step. They got a simple rule. You know what I'm saying? You can't make no more than 50% of the target. So it made me adjustment, and man, next thing you know, man, I start passing these evals, and my students start passing evals, getting payouts, and we had to make an adjustment because it's totally different. And not only that, I don't have 200K account with 18,000, 10% of drawdown that I got. It's cut way in half. So I had to make that adjustment, taking A+ setups to really pass these evals and being consistent, man. And I'm getting there. I'm just getting. I don't know. I'm still learning. I'm still learning the future space. But one thing that I wish I would have known that I know now that I learned from you is the tape level 2, seeing the numbers, man. The dime, man. Man, like, oh my goodness, man. Like, that was game changer for me. I'm talking about my accuracy, absorption. I see everything now. I couldn't see that in CFDs. I'm like, man, why was we trading, wasting all this time to CFDs? Man, I could have been over in futures, and who knows where I'd have been by now, man. And it just, that changed everything for me. So, playbook, depth of market, learning how to not just look at the numbers, because people look at the numbers, see it moving all day, that trade futures, but they don't understand what they're looking at. I understand what I'm looking at, and when I see them big orders coming in, the passive big sellers or big buyers, it might not react at that moment, but it's filling them orders to make another move. And man, once I learned that game changed for me. I see everything you talked about, the absorption, the distribution. I see everything, man. It's like I'm not trading blind no more. I see the real stories in every candle now.
Man, that's tough. We're glad you can share that experience about the evals. Eval space is growing. It's $1 billion industry. No question about it. Many reports have come out about these companies making hundreds and hundreds of millions in revenue. So I'm glad that people like myself and you can share our experiences with newer traders who like to get started, so that they can consider what path they're going to take. So Brandon, by the way, would you mind sharing one of your setups with us? You can share your screen.
All right, cool. Let me get on here. US 30 or YM, it just hit an all-time high because of what happened on Friday. Warren Buffett ended up investing into United Health Group, which is a major player in the US 30. So you got Goldman Sachs, United Health Group, and you got all the other companies where you got all the Magnificent Seven companies, the Microsoft, the Apples. You got all them in there as well. But what made it hit an all-time high on Friday was the news that Warren Buffett ended up buying a dip, and man, it just really just took off. So when I'm near all-time high levels, I'm really not so bullish at that moment, even though it's an uptrend. I'll be looking for mostly pullbacks if I'm going to continue to go bullish. Because if you look at the daily, I'm going to show you the daily. So the daily on my chart, every time we got into this 45,000 range, where I got my green line at, this was during when Trump first got into office, when it hit 45,000 range, and then we had another rally back in February. Then everybody know we had the big, tariff scare, and everything dropped back in April, right? I mean, this was transfer of wealth right here. Like, if people got rich that bought these dips, right? This was that Lance,
Like
this was a Lance
capitulation.
move right here. Yeah, exactly. This was when Trump was like, "Hey, I think it's a good time to buy stocks," and the market just went 2,000 points in 5 minutes, man. I never seen nothing like that in my life, man. It was insane, man. That type of move, and that happened at the moment. And then we just did a continuation of the rally. So what I'm looking at now, because we at back in the all-time high levels with US 30 for the first time this year, S&P 500 and Nasdaq has already been creating new all-time highs. So this was the first time because of that news. So what I figured was the reason why US 30 been struggling this year compared to the other indexes is because it was United Health Group was struggling all year since their CEO got assassinated. Then they started getting probed with Medicare fraud or something like that. There was a lot of
Yep.
bad stuff going on with United Health Group at that
Yeah, they
moment.
took a hit. They
Yeah, they
took a
took a
bunch of hits. Like you said, the CEO. I can't
hit.
remember the drop. Can you pull up UNH?
Yeah, I'm about to pull it up right now. Look at
Okay.
this. Look at that drop. It was
Man,
one
massive drop. I mean, just
massive
major,
drop.
major
Yeah,
meltdown, man.
major meltdown. I mean, it got as low as a $234 meltdown. And this was Friday when Warren Buffett ended up announcing buying that dip. at about $260. And man, it's still early to buy. I mean, you already know how Roy Buffett is. When people start to see him investing into a stock, they want to follow too. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to get a mid, fourth quarter rally with United Health Group, which is going to help US 30 push the market up higher, man. So that's been a lagger of the what's in the index of US 30. But yeah, it was a massive drop, man. I mean, long term, I believe it's going to recover. It might not happen for a while, but it's the biggest healthcare company in the United States. So eventually they'll recover, man, once they get everything structured. Or man, that was a crazy drop. I think I messaged you too when I saw that. I'm like, man, Warren Buffett didn't put a lot of money into United Health Group, man. But trading something like this, man, you definitely gotta have the leverage for that, man. Like you spending $260 a share, so you gotta have some money to really take advantage of that type of stock.
So Brandon, you talked about Trump. You talked about fundamentals. You talked about UNH. Can you explain to the newer traders out there that maybe focus purely on technicals why you're focused on what's going on in the environment, macro economics? You're focused on Trump tweeting. You're focused on some of the members of US 30. Can you break that down for us?
That's important to me because on a fundamental aspect, you gotta know the top 30 companies in America. And whenever they have some type of catalyst that's gonna drive the market, that's giving me a bullish sentiment, whether it's good or bad. If it's good, like Warren Buffett investing into United Health Group, that stock been horrible all year. And you have to know what makes US 30 move. You got CPI, you got interest rates. We haven't had an interest rate cut yet, but I'm pretty sure once we do get an interest rate cut, the US 30 is going to probably hit more on all-time highs. And it's deeper than technicals. Every day the first thing I check before I take a trade is I check what type of news we get. And that's also an advantage that I have now that I didn't have in the CFD space. Because all I used to use was this Forex Factory, before I switched over, just to see if we had any news coming up for the week. I used to use Forex Factory. Now that I switched over to futures, I have, Top Step has a really excellent news terminal. Every time Trump says something, I can see it on a news terminal with Top Step. I can see everything now. So it's really helping me out. That's what I'm saying. Like switching over to futures, I wish I would have been in it sooner than now. Because now it makes sense to everything that I've been dealing with over the years as far as trading US 30. But it's very important. You got to know what's going on, what's making the move, and what you really look for. Like, for example, last year, a lot of people don't know this, but Intel was taken out of US 30 and replaced with NVIDIA. So during last year, before that happened, it used to be a rotation out of the tech sector, which is not NASDAQ and NQ. They used to take profits in NASDAQ and put in US 30. So they wasn't correlating together. So you will see like NASDAQ drop and US 30 go bullish. That's because they was rotating out of them tech stocks and into stocks because they was really banking on what? The interest rates. They was banking on interest rates to increase, so favorable for the companies that's in the US 30. Even though they all in all the other indexes, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, as well. But it's more, you gotta know what drives it. I mean, the Dow is the big boy, and the indexes, it's the top 30 companies. And man, whenever this catalyst is gonna affect them, like I'm gonna give you an example. What I've been doing, one of my A plus let's go type of setups is whenever I get the bank earnings. Whenever we have bank earnings, man, I'm up 6 in the morning ready to hit that buy button because most likely it's gonna be some good earnings because the banks really don't lose. The only time they ever had a big loss is when we had the housing crisis back in '08, during a recession. But man, like it's get up early because they always report pre-market. They don't ever, report early. And I came some hell of a moves this every quarter. I be looking forward to bank earnings. So that's like a little gem. And, that I can give y'all like, hey, look for bank earnings when it's earnings season. It's always before pre-market. And man, you might catch a good couple of moves them days. So that's like a golden nugget. That's them days, Zula. I'm putting some size on the trade. Like I know Chase about to
Yep.
come out and be
Yep.
like, hey, we got record earnings. And you know what's crazy? Bank of America, um, they said they made more money trading this year than they ever had. So they actually hit a milestone. I think they made like $860 million, something like that, of trading
Mm.
profits this year. So you know what made me think, dude, they bought the dip at the bottom when we had that big jump drop in April, man.
So, Brendan, you're looking at the macro environment, interest rates, inflation. You're looking at what's happening with the government and some of the um, members of US 30. How do you go from there to the higher time frame technical chart down to your entry?
I look at what type of conditions we in right now. Like currently, right now, we are overall in the uptrend. That news that happened with United Health Group is going to kind of help us break through it. The one thing about it, from base what I learned on with the future space, is there's still some strong sellers in this area that could possibly take profit in its levels right now. You see what I'm saying? Like, look at every time it touched this my green line, which is the 45,000 range, price always rejected. So I'm looking for another pullback in order to take advantage of a buying opportunity. We almost getting close to entering the second half of the year, which is they call it the holiday bull or whatever you want to call it. We almost there. We're a couple of months away from that, the last quarter of the year. So I'm expecting us to get at least another drop, and then it's going to be rally time from that point. Because if you look back, historically, indexes pull back between August and September. If you just go back and back test them 2 months. So I'm anticipating a pullback because you got to think about it. People that bought, or company institutions that bought on the dip in April, they'll be looking to take profits, and they're gonna get back into the market and buy them dips. So I'm more favorable bullish. I look for nice drops into the market, and I can show you like a setup. What
Yep.
I do is I always look at the higher time frame first. So I'm more of a support and resistance trader. So now you see, I got my bearish order blocks based off of history. I know 3 times every time US 30 hit this level of the 45,000 range, it's been rejection. So I'm looking for mostly accumulation. If we're going to continue to go up, I want to see some accumulation this week. If not, it's going to drop and hopefully go back down to this area. This is a better area of interest. I would love for the price to come back down to this range, but it might not though. Especially with the news that we got that United Health Group is got a pulse now because of Warren Buffett big investment. So and that's fresh news. That's fresh catalyst. That just happened Friday. So I always start off on the daily, and then I drop down to the 4 hour. And what I'm looking for support and resistance levels. And I use market sessions. This is an indicator I use. All it does is gives me like the Asian range, the London open and close. And I look at, what's going on during the times, during the Tokyo session, during London, and then, I trade during New York. So two things normally will happen. It's either going to be a continuation of the trend, or we're going to get some type of pullback, then a continuation after they build up that liquidity. So right now the market is pulling back since Friday, and we're kind of still in like a consolidation levels right now. I'm hoping to get a nice little pullback to start Monday, and then we get another rally. Who knows what might happen? I mean, we got things also with Trump. Like this market has not been easy because we had a lot of misinformation when it comes to tariffs, and the data's been actually good for indexes. I mean, for indices, especially for the US 30 lately. We did have one day this year. Recently, it was NFP, where they was expecting the numbers to be like over 100. The unemployment claims was lower than expected, and the market did a big drop. That happened last NFP this month. NSP reports for previous month. So you gotta know the fundamentals that's going on with what you trade. That's why I stick to one thing, because I know how certain news events will make that market move that particular day. Like, for example, CPI came last week. I was actually, look, this was the A plus buy setup. Even if it wasn't CPI I trade on. I take my entries on a 5 minute time frame. So what I look for absorption. This is where the absorption comes from. I'm doing. I
Hmm.
look for absorption and bank levels. So bank levels is the whole numbers of those who don't know. Like I look for like certain levels where I think the buyer should be at if they're gonna buy at these ranges. So 44,000 was like my target as far as buying, right? I would consider this a buy zone. This is the area of interest where I'm looking to buy in this area, particular area right here. So if price comes to my area, and I noticed like I was trading, I was up early, right? I was up early and I saw this, right? So I'm like, dang, the sellers can't, they couldn't bring price what lower than this level right here. And this was like that bank level I was looking for. So based off, so I always look to the left. So I looked to the left and I seen, okay, it was a bullish order block in this area. The every time it touched that 40,000 range, it's a strong buyer in this area of interest. Now, what happens normally during before a major news event come out like CPI, you will get a range of consolidation. So I'm gonna take my shot every time if I see price exhaustion where the sell could look it sold off during New York this day. It sold off on Monday. It consolidated for the remaining of London and New York. I mean, into New York, into London before New York opened, right? And man, I was at the look. I was in the buy, got into a buy long position right around here. Once I see, cause these my EMAs, okay. I use a 13
Hmm.
EMA and the 200 EMA. The yellow line is a 200 EMA, and the 13 EMA is what I use on a higher time frame. So I end up getting an entry right here. I do like a stop loss under the structure because I remember I told you that's my bank level. So I'm like, okay, if it's going, it's some buyers right here. If it's going to break this level where this 44,000 at, it's gonna drop. So I
Hmm.
have my stop loss right there, and man, look at that, man. It's just beautiful trade, man. Beautiful, you know, 500 point move. Like, man, just hit. And it also gave us a pullback. So New York, I love to be out of a trade by New York Open because you never know. It could have reversed and came back down. But on strong big news days when it was like better than expected, you might get a rally on a continuation. Some traders probably would have took the buy up here, after New York Open, and then it did a continuation, and that would have been a good size and in entry if you would have had the type of entry. So my entries really be good, and this was a plus buy setup, man. Even if I drop down on the lower time frame, on the higher time frames, like let's go to the 15 minute. Okay, here we go. I mean, I would have took this, dude. I would have took this trade on any time frame, or higher time frames. Like this is my A plus buy setup, textbook, proper risk management. I was willing to risk, whatever it is, to make this catch this move. And this wasn't gambling. Some people, oh, CPI coming up, blah blah. It could have went either way, but I was okay with accepting this loss. And the catalyst was, I mean, I'm gonna take it regardless if it was CPI or not. That's my setup. It don't matter what if it was going to be funded. That
Hmm.
was my setup because I already know in my mind how much I was willing to lose. So I already had
Gotcha.
mine. I see that. It don't matter if it's news, fundamentals, earnings, or whatever. I'm gonna shoot that shot. That's my A plus buy setup every time. I'm gonna take that shot.
So you mentioned passive orders, reading the tape, looking at the bank levels. Can you explain, in regards to absorption? What did you see? What did you see on the tape? What did you see on the level two? What did you see um, in the order flow that helped you make a decision here?
I saw large orders coming in. See, the one thing about trading YM, the orders is not as big as S&P 500 and Nasdaq. It's the orders. The larger orders is actually smaller. So if you see a 50, 100, like most likely, yeah, this it's gonna it's gonna react bullish. Whether bullish or bearish. You know what I'm saying? When you start seeing the
Yep.
larger orders in that instrument, like I got and I learned this from you. I set my filter just to see like the bigger orders instead of like the noise with the smaller orders, which
Mm.
creates the consolidation. But once that passive um, buyer, the big buyer that reveals itself, I'm more confident in that trade. hundred. It could be 100, 100 contract order or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That would reveal itself in the tape. So that's what gave me the confluence when I saw it. I'm like, oh man, I see the buyer, because every time price touched this level and I can see it on the tape, I'm gonna shoot my shot. So that was that was an A+ buy setup. I must take that shot every single time. All right, so I ended up catching this move. It was the week before CPI. Okay, this one right here. Textbook A+ sales setup. I ended up catching this move too. And I trade from the 5-minute time frame. And what I look for, and this is a sales scenario. I showed you a buy scenario, and I'm showing you the sales scenario. See these wicks right here? That means that the buyers can't push price higher. So it wicked multiple times in this area, and then here go New York open. So when I was trading, I'm like, okay, when I do my zones, mark on my charts, I might, like I had the buy zone on here, this would have been my sell zone right up in here. That would have been my sell zone. So whenever price hit my zones, I'm gonna shoot my shot. Like especially where there's no catalyst behind it. But here's the thing I knew about this day too. What you think happened this day? This was the day that Trump implemented the tariffs for the first time. Like this was the official day that the reciprocal tariffs was in play. That's why you gotta know what's up with fundamentals, because this was the official day. You can go back and look at what happened on Thursday, August 7th, and that was it. It was the day of reciprocal tariffs. So in my mind, whenever you turn the tariffs on, implement some tariffs, the market's gonna drop. That's no guess. So what I did was I waited on market open, price to come into my sell zone, because I already knew like there was some sellers up here, and we did short position, my stop loss. Normally, if I'm in a sale, I give it a little bit more room, because sometimes that market open bullish candle can be like strong. Like I give it at least, my average stop loss is at least 100 points. And the reason why I keep mine like about 100 points, because I'm willing to lose that. My whole goal is to win the week, not just the day. I'm in the markets every day, Monday through Friday. I don't miss a day. And when I catch my moves, I'm okay with losing 100 points, because guess what? I might catch a massive move. This was a beautiful downtrend. A+ sales setup all day. And that was 600 points right there. Clean drop, man. Beautiful downtrend. And then look, guess what happened after that, dude? Who you think was down here? I saw it on the tape. Them passive. I saw large buy orders coming in, building up liquidity for the next move. I didn't trade this, but I saw it, and my exit was down here once I started seeing the passive buyers start to step into the market, and that's what created the consolidation. This was absorption right here. The sellers was done with the massive move after that.
Two more questions for you about the playbook. Then we'll jump into psychology and mindset. Many traders complain about chop, trying to trade indices day in and day out. How do you avoid the choppy days, getting stopped out on the range, making money, and then giving the profits back when you have chop on indices?
One thing about me, I try to trade at least an hour or less a day. I'm not in the market all day. If it's fundamentals in play, if it's just a normal day, I'm looking for where I'm at. So, for example, this is Friday. I actually caught this sale right here. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Friday. In my mind, whenever I see Tokyo's Asian range is bullish, most likely it's gonna do a pullback and sweep the lows, or go build up liquidity. And I actually caught this sale at market open, New York open. I trade New York open if the setup is there. And if you look at it, these areas, this was actually my sell zone right here. So when I mark on my charts, I'm trading zone to zone. I'm looking for zones, okay? I'm trading zone to zone. So I do trade market open a lot. This was a nice move right here. That was like 160 points. My goal every day is to catch at least 100 points minimum a day, and I'm happy with that. Remember, I told you I risk 100 points to make 100 points. I'm mostly doing one-to-one. Some days I will get a runner, but my risks never change. Sometimes I might, I might do a tighter stop loss, and I also trail. So this day right here, we was done trading the first 5 minutes of market open, because once the price hit my zone, it was go time. I waited, market open, shot up a little bit. So what I look for, so I'm gonna tell you on market open, the dime go crazy at New York Open. So when I seen the orders in the tape, I saw more sell large orders than buys. So I'm in a sell in this at market open because I didn't see no what we call buyer pressure at open. My dime just lit up red like the Red Sea, man. Just went crazy, just red, red, red. Like if y'all ain't getting the sale, get in because the numbers don't lie, and there's no guessing when you can understand what you're looking at with when it comes to the depth of market and the tape. Like, and this was a prime example of a reaction. And actually, my exit. This was actually my exit as well. We ended up exiting on the first 5 minutes of New York Open, and I'm gonna tell you why I ended up exiting that trade on Friday. You see this bullish order block to the left, right here. That one right
Mm-hmm.
there. That was
Mm-hmm.
actually my buy zone. I made a buy zone right here. So what I look for whenever it's aggressive sale, like we had the aggressive sale at market open, I tell my students leave it alone. Don't try to like counter trend trade. Let it go. If you got in when I called it, we gonna ride it down, and we just left it alone. Some of my students like, oh, I hit your buy zone, hit your buy zone, but it can break it because them sellers was aggressive. That's what gave me the advantage with the tape is being able like, look, them sellers are still strong. They are not weak, and eventually it dropped back down to that bank level I was telling you about, close to 45,000. Now, guess what? We got absorption again. So now this is the true buy zone where I would be taking love to take a trade on a buy right now.
So let's talk about mindset. When you took that $8,000 loan and ran it up to 140K and then lost 93K, how'd you make it back from that? Many traders never experience this, but if you've ever had the beginner's luck, that beginner's luck wipes a lot of people out. Did being in the community help ground you? Did having other traders, having a pod help ground you and help motivate you? Talk to us about that a little bit.
Okay. So that was devastating, man. Like I said, losing that type of money and the possibility of being able to make that type of money was real. I ain't never, like I used to be a guy that hang out in casino all the time. It was very rare that made $5,000, $10,000 a day because that type of environment is designed for you to lose. So I'm like, this ain't gambling. Like, so my mind was like, this ain't gambling. I actually made this. I actually pressed the button. It was nothing against me. It was just going off my analysis of what I discovered, and I start sizing in as my account grew. When I took that loss, that sparked me to be like, I was hurt. I was hurt. I was quit. Like I told you, the very next day, I withdrew the remainder of my money, went straight to the bank, paid off the loan. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like hold the loan. I'm like, here, here's your money back. I kept 12. The rest of the remainder. I think it was like $12,000 left in that account, something like that. It was something like that. That pushed me to be able to want to learn even more. I was more eager. Like, if I can turn $8,000 into $140,000, I got to really learn how to trade this thing. And that's why I've been committed and only trade this one ticker because I know everything that makes it move, why it moves, and like you said earlier, it's like what do you do when it's choppy? I stay out the market when it's choppy. If I don't catch my move early, I'm done. I love to be done trading by 10 o'clock. That's just me. I don't want to see the chart. I don't care if Warren Buffett came and bought some more shares on Monday. Like, I'm done, because I don't want to be in the market trying to, I got a system in place. And this is how I became a CPT. I win or lose, I take my one trade. I might do two because I don't trade in while open, we're open all the time. I wait until get some type of confirmation, or especially now that I know how to read the dime and the depth of market now. You know what I'm saying? So if I see some good orders, or sometimes I'll wait till price come to, like I'm telling you right now, we at 45,000. That's a level of interest for me that I would like to get on a buy at right now. If the market was up, I would be, yeah, this is my setup. I'll take that. We got a breakout, retest, so I'm looking to buy right now. I'm not the person to like, oh, wait for it's confirmed. Because guess what? By the time it's confirmed, I already, my trade, by the time you waiting to get in again. You know what I'm saying? I'm already ready to exit out of that profit. I learned that from Lance because I remember when Lance said that when that big drop happened with the one trade he made the $10 million, and he was saying
Mm-hmm.
he took the trade, he thought it was the floor. He ended up taking the one first loss, and then he got back in, and that's the type of setups I look for. I love to see the market do a big drop. And historically, indices is bullish. Always remember that. His indices is historically bullish. Like they always buy the dip. It will have to be something really bad for the market to really drop. So mostly I'm looking for buy opportunities. I think just like the banks, we all love something on sale. The market does too. When it's sale, it creates opportunities. Like you said, so that dip in April, that was millionaires was created that this year to this point right now. The people that bought at them levels. So don't get caught up into the fear. Get Be ready and be in position for the opportunity to take advantage of it when it happens. Because there's certain things that don't happen all the time, just like COVID. They ain't never happened. We never had a situation like this. Was COVID. This past 20 years. This was the recession. Oh wait, we only had three major pullbacks in US 30 in the past 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So my sentiment is mostly bullish. I love to see fear in the market, and I like to take advantage of that because that's what everybody wants. We don't want to buy when the market is high. We want to buy when it drops a 5, 10, 20% levels. Then we start looking to buy. As far as the psychological go, man, I treat trading like an airplane pilot would treat a simulator to fly. So I already know. I make sure all my checks and balances is lined up. Check my news. Check fundamentals. See if Trump is trading. I mean, tweeting today. What's catalyst in play? What are I check all the companies too. I go on Bloomberg. I check the 30 companies. I make sure I see if United Health Group is struggling. Is Goldman Sachs struggling for the day? I look at all that. I look at everything that has something to do with it, and I look for news that affects any of the companies that's in US 30. That's why I don't trade NASDAQ or S&P because it's too many companies for me to monitor. I'd rather just monitor the 30 companies and it's either I'm buying today or I'm selling today. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what they got going on. And also trying to navigate through this Trump market. It's been, man, I've been in trades, bro. Like, like, oh, forget your technical analysis. Trump just came out and said something, and man, it's been this is not a holders market right now. Like, if you're trying to this is not it. No, period. It's a lot of chop and waiting. It's really three big dominoes that has not happened yet that has potentially happened this year. And one is the rate cuts, which we're going to get. We just don't know what month. Maybe next month. Maybe sometime in December or the winter months. Trump dealing with China. Whenever he do it, we come up with the deal with China with the tariffs. That's gonna be huge too. If Russia and Ukraine come to a peace with the war, that's gonna move the market as well too. So it's certain events that I'm waiting on to happen to see if we're gonna get some good bullish sentiment to end the year out. That hasn't happened yet. So in that situation, you just want to stick to your system and be in position to take advantage of it when it happens. Don't freak out and panic. Don't get caught in the chop because, like you said, dude, a lot of people want to know how you handle chop. I don't wait. I'm not that. It's confirmed type trader because when it's choppy, it can look like this and you can get destroyed. I'm looking for price come where the bigger seller, the bigger buyers is at down here. I'm buying down here. I'm not buying at this because it crossed the 13 EMA or it did a pullback. I'm looking for price to come to me. That's why I always tell my students, let price come to you. If it don't come to you, that trade just wasn't meant for you to have. Period. Go on to the next day. Become the best loser. Yeah, I don't win every day. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't win every day. But my risk management, taking that one trade, win or lose, I'm done for that day because tomorrow might be that one good trade that changes everything. That's how you gotta handle it on the psychological. We gotta be like, I don't overtrade, revenge trade. Be the best loser. That's the key to this. Being the best loser. Because when the wins come, I treat the wins just as much as the same as I treat the losers, lost trades. That trade just wasn't for me. It's either gonna be for me or it's not for that day. And I'm gonna say my consistency, I'm like 60% consistent win rate. I don't have a high win rate. But it helps because I have good risk management habits.
Mm.
And I close the machine. I love being done trading by 10. I would love to get on stocks after 10. Like, okay, dude, what you got going on? Like, like what's going on in the market? We done for the day. We got 150 points. I never wanted to be a trader and treat it like a 9 to 5 where I got to be on the market all day, every day just because it's open. Let me be honest with you. Some of my students, because they know how we trade, they're like, hey, Brandon, it's at the bank level. You say it's at your buy zone. I'm like, leave it alone because you don't know. You could have caught a couple of pips or whatever, you know what I'm saying, during the chop if you was buying. But leave it alone. Let it exhaust because all it's doing is building up liquidity for another bigger move. And it might happen tonight, might happen tomorrow. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We just probability traders.
Okay, last question for you. If you could say anything to the Brandon that lost that 93K, the one that was struggling before he made the comeback and made over 6 figures in payouts, what would you say to him?
Find a mentor that been through what you went through and learn everything you possibly can, because you go end up paying regardless if the market go take you or that you're gonna pay them for their mentorship. That's what I was missing. I was missing the right mentor at that time. Because if I had the right mentor that really pushed risk management, I would have never lost that type of money at the beginning of my trading journey. I had no idea US 30 can drop 7,000 pips in one day. And that's what happened. That's how I got margin out. It dropped, major drop. Just like I showed y'all that sale setup, it did one of them moves. Clean drop. And don't give up. You know, it's real. Yes, it's real. But risk management is the key. And get better at accepting losses. Get better. Because I think that's the biggest problem a lot of traders have is they don't like to see red days. I'm okay with it. Top Step has a feature that you can lock yourself out of the account when red or green day. I love that feature. When I'm done, Abdullah. That's it. I hit the button, boop. Can't even get a market no more. I don't look at the charts, none of that. Only time I look at it, if somebody call me and be like, hey, Brandon, look at this. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, that's the discipline you got to have when you're dealing with the most volatile index in the indices, period. You know, so yeah, that's my best advice to myself, man. And just don't give up. You know, show up every day. Treat this like a business. Show up every day. Don't give up because, you know, I want to be a 7-figure trader. I don't want to, you know, I'm trying to get to that 7-figure trader aspect. And yes, I'm not trading the easiest thing that you can trade to get to 7 figures. But I feel like this, like I gave you the analogy, as an airplane pilot, the same way you fly a simulator is the same way you can fly a live plane, and you don't want to crash. So whatever strategy you use that's going to get you there, if you can master that and master one instrument and stop being everywhere, because you don't want to be you don't want to be mediocre at a bunch of things. You want to master one thing, because guess what? Even if I pivot over to stocks, I'm still going to have the same strategy. I'm still going to have the same discipline. Because if I can fly one plane, I can fly any plane. Because I got the skill set. I got the risk management down pat. I know how much I'm willing. And I'm not afraid of sizing in as well, too. I size in on my trades. But I developed that risk tolerance over the years. Some people can't stomach losing $100. Some people can't stomach losing $10,000 in a trade. You know what I'm saying? Or seeing that type of drawdown, make them depressed. But if you use proper risk management, you will treat that loss just as well as you will treat the wins. And that's what I do. That's the key to being a CPT, man. It's just being the best loser.
All right, brother, man. Thank you for joining the show. Would you mind telling people where they can find you on social media? Also, Brandon will be at the Miami event February 2026. Hit the link in the description to learn about the event. Also, you can hit the link in the description to apply for our Accelerator 90-day program to help you become consistent, or if you're already consistent, to help you scale up and get that playbook just like Brandon did. Let's go ahead and close out with where they can find you at.
I'm on Instagram, and you can also find me on Threads. It's corporate_BG.
All right, brother. Thanks for joining the show. Hey, y'all, show Brandon some love. Follow him on the socials. Reach out to him for more questions. Thank y'all for checking out this episode. If you like this episode and you want to see more student highlights, drop fire signs in the chat, and we will continue to do these series. See ya.